Today we're digging into a question a lot of people have: why are there so many different versions of the Bible? And even more importantly, which one is actually the most accurate? Let's walk through it step by step. 1. Why so many Bible versions? The Bible wasn't written in English. It was originally written in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek thousands of years ago. We do not have the original manuscripts. What we have are copies of copies, passed down and hand-copied over centuries. Those copies don't always agree with each other. Some words, phrases, or even whole sections are different depending on the manuscript. Bible translators today work with these ancient manuscripts and make choices about which ones to trust and how best to translate them into modern language. That's why we have different versions, not because the message changed, but because language changes and we now have better data than ever before. 2. What are textual variants? Textual variants are the differences between the ancient manuscript copies. Most are small, spelling differences or word order, but some are significant. John 5 verse 4, about the angel stirring the water, is missing in the oldest manuscripts. Mark 16 verses 9 to 20, the longer ending of Mark, was likely added later. The famous story of the woman caught in adultery in John 8 is not in the earliest copies of that gospel. So when a modern Bible version removes or footnotes a verse, it's not taking away from God's word, it's usually trying to stay true to the earliest sources. 3. Translation styles, word for word versus thought for thought. Bible versions are based on different philosophies of translation. Word for word, formal equivalence tries to follow the original Hebrew or Greek as closely as possible. More precise, but often harder to read. Examples: New American Standard Bible, NASB. English Standard Version, ESV. Thought for thought, dynamic equivalence focuses on the meaning rather than exact wording. Easier to understand, especially for modern readers. Examples: New International Version, NIV. New Living Translation, NLT. Paraphrase, or not a true translation, retells the Bible in modern language and style. Very readable, but not great for serious study. Example: The Message, by Eugene Peterson. Each approach has value. It just depends on what you're reading the Bible for: study, teaching, devotional reading, or accessibility. 4. The King James Version, KJV, and why it's not the best. Let's talk about the King James Version. First published in 1611, it became the most well-known English Bible for centuries. But it was based on limited manuscript evidence, mostly from the 12th century and later. Since then, scholars have discovered thousands of older, more accurate manuscripts, some dating back to the 2nd and 3rd centuries. The King James Version also uses outdated English. Many words no longer mean what they used to. Conversation once meant citizenship. Let once meant to hinder. Charity was used instead of love. This outdated language can cause major misunderstandings for modern readers. Importantly, in seminaries and Bible colleges, the King James Version is almost never used for academic study. Professors and scholars prefer translations that are based on the most reliable manuscripts, reflective of modern language, more accurate to the original meaning. 5. So which version should you read? There is no single perfect Bible version, but here are some recommendations based on purpose. For accuracy in study: New American Standard Bible, NASB. English Standard Version, ESV. New Revised Standard Version, NRSV. For readability in devotion: New International Version, NIV. New Living Translation, NLT. Christian Standard Bible, CSB. For casual or inspirational reading: The Message, not recommended for deep study, but helpful for fresh perspective. The best approach is to compare multiple versions side by side. This helps you understand how different scholars have interpreted the text and why. There are many Bible versions, and that's actually a good thing. It shows that translators and scholars are continually working to get closer to the original meaning, using the best available evidence and the language of the people today. The idea that the King James Version is the most accurate or God's chosen Bible is a myth, and often held by those unfamiliar with modern biblical scholarship. So don't be afraid to read a modern version. It may just bring the Bible to life in ways you've never seen before.